Good run recently, and I'm looking at the New Zealander. He's a bit uptight, but he's a nice horse, number 12, Sent Home.
The last-minute thoughts of Roy Higgins, Dan Malicki and Gary Willits in the commentary box.
Yes, Peter, well, Tie the Knot certainly looks good. The last one's going in. I'd like to see him go straight. He gets his chance on the big track here.
Referral joins the line. They're set to go. Louis Vuitton McKinnon Stakes. 2,000 metres and they're off and racing. Referral missed the start by a length. Rogan Josh a little slow with Aerosmith. Rebel getting back with Sky Bow. Sent Home the first one out with Londolozi. Then 2 lengths to Oliver Twist, who's third. Arena fourth. Lawyer going up wide to fifth. Poking through in the middle after a slow getaway was Referral. So Intergaze is 3 deep. About 2 lengths away to Rogan Josh on the outside of Rebor. Then Tie the Knot on the outside of Aerosmith. Rebel second last. And Sky Bow at the rear of the field. They've got 1,500 metres to travel. And the mare Londolozi goes clear now by 2 lengths to Lawyer. Sent Home third the inside, a length and a half to Oliver Twist. They were followed fifth on the inside by Arena. Intergaze is travelling out wide, going past Referral now, then Rebor, a half to Rogan Josh, 2 lengths to Aerosmith, inside Tie the Knot, 2 lengths to Rebel, and last is Sky Bow, about 12 lengths off the lead. 1,100 metres to travel, and Londolozi's narrowly in front here, but Lawyer's gone up on the outside of it, and they've gone out by 4 or 5 lengths now. Sent Home is running third, a length away, Oliver Twist fourth. Intergaze has travelled 3 deep throughout, then Referral the centre. Arena's on the rails, 2 lengths to Rogan Josh, and then Rebor, Aerosmith. Tie the Knot should be able to work home nicely now. There's been a genuine speed, but he's third last, 8 lengths off the lead, 2 lengths to Rebel and 5 away Sky Bow. They've got about 600 metres to travel. Londolozi a half to Lawyer. Oliver Twist and Intergaze going up 4 deep. Sent Home poised to pounces right behind them. Then came Arena on the rails. Next Referral. Then came Rogan Josh from Rebor. Tie the Knot to the outside with Rebel as they came into the straight. Oliver Twist joined Londolozi. 3 out was Intergaze. Then Rogan Josh. Next is Rebel making ground. Referral Sent Home and then Tie the Knot. 300 to go. It's Oliver Twist and Intergaze. 2 lengths away Rebel. Then came Rogan Josh. Tie the Knot struggling. Halfway up the straight, Oliver Twist led. Coming at him, Rebel and Rogan Josh in the centre. Rogan Josh goes up with Rebel to hit the lead. It's Rogan Josh drawing the neck clear. This is a strong run. Rogan Josh coming away. Rogan Josh wins it nearly a length. Second Rebel, then Oliver Twist, Aerosmith, Referral, Intergaze, Arena. Well, Tie the Knots runners really open up a can of worms. That was a poor performance. Then Sent Home, Rebel, Londolozi, Sky Bow and Lawyer.
Well, a great win to Rogan Josh. And look, after he's running the Caulfield Cup, he's got to be very hard to beat in the Melbourne Cup. Bart Cummings has produced another one, Dan.
Certainly has. He's going to go, I think, towards the top 2 or 3 lines of betting, and Tie the Knot. That's one of his worst runs, Gary. I'm very disappointed in that performance.
Very disappointing at all. You know, he just didn't seem to fire at all, and whether he just doesn't handle this way of going, like, I know he's run second in the Cox Plate and the Caulfield Stakes, but he seems to get on the wrong leg, and gee, they haven't got a lot of time to get him right.
Well, it's Derby time. Almost cup time, Peter. Wouldn't be right without Bart Cummings, and he might well have one of the leading chances. I'm sure he has. Rogan Josh on Tuesday.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Dan. After what was a slashing Melbourne Cup trial, you've seen a few good ones over the years, but that'd be up there with them, wouldn't it?
Oh, lesser late. It's probably one of the better ones, but well, this one rates fairly highly. These horses come along, improved a great deal in the last couple of months, and I think it was a nice trial for the Cup on Tuesday.
Wonderfully, the way he finished off the race must have given you very good thoughts about the 3,200 metres at the end of the race on Tuesday.
Well, it shows you will settle and still get to the line, which is the most important thing. And yeah, it was a good trial.
There was a lot of money for this horse throughout the week, Bart. Any of it yours?
Well, I've got none.
You might have some after Tuesday.
I hope so.
Good on you, well done. Bart Cummings, the winning trainer. Here's Johnny Letts now with John Marshall.
Yeah, John Rogan Josh, what a great run for the Melbourne Cup. Yeah, sensational trial, John. And he give you a nice ride all the way?
Yeah, he settled beautifully. They were running along at a good tempo, which I was happy about. And we just peeled out on straightening, and Damien came at me, but this bloke dug deep. It was a mighty effort.
And the run under his belt will help him a bit too, won't it?
Well, definitely, John. He dropped so much in weight in the Cup.
Yeah, and you're riding?
Yes, definitely.
Well, I think you might have a very, very good chance in the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday, John. It'd be nice to see you win it too.
Thanks, John.
And back riding for Bart Cummings too.
Oh, well, why not?
Yeah,
Just give me the strength.
He's the greatest. Yeah, good luck, John.
Johnny Marshall out there with Johnny Letts, and yes, this horse is now going to catapult into Melbourne Cup calculations. We're going to take a look at the replay. There is Rogan Josh in the turquoise colours coming after Indigos and Oliver Twist. Indigos in the white, Oliver Twist in the orange. Both of those horses were travelling, Jen, but didn't he accelerate this horse?
He sure did, and he keeps on improving, doesn't he? And I'll tell you, there's another nice run in here, Arena. You can see him in the pink colours, the John Hawkes colours. He gets home quite nicely towards the end of the race as well, so you'll see him front up on Tuesday, I'm sure.
Tie the Night went very poorly.
Gee, that was a bad run from him. Very disappointing.
I hope he's okay, because that is completely out of character with that horse. Normally, he'd be pinging home, especially, Jen, when the speed was so genuine in the middle stages of that race. Dan said over about the 800 he was looking for him to run home. We all were. He just didn't.
No, he didn't. And, well, just really uncharacteristic of him, because he's so honest as a general rule, and he normally comes home with a great finish, and he was entitled to with that pacer.
What about the Master JB Cummings? How does he do it? He might do it for the 11th time in the Foster's Melbourne Cup on Tuesday with this horse that up until a few weeks ago, no, he ran a place in a Perth Cup, but no one really had heard of him that much.
No, and Bart doesn't give too much away about how he does do it, but he's got the score on the board, and no one can doubt that.
Well, here comes Rogan Josh back to scale after the Louis Vuitton McKinnon Stakes. A magnificent Melbourne Cup trial, not so for Tie the Knot, and that is something that we will be keeping an eye on. Number 8 in the second placing in the race, coming back to scale now, and it was a pretty good performance too. And that, of course, was by Rebel, and number 9, Oliver Twist, in third. So it's a bit of a boil over here. In fact, it's a big boil over. Not so much with the winner, Rogan Josh, because we knew he had ability, but the Melbourne Cup favourite, Tie the Knot. Has something gone wrong with him? We'll keep our eye on that situation and bring you all the details. So as Rogan Josh comes back to the winner's stall, Bart Cummings accepts the congratulations of everyone. We'll go to a break on the opening day of the Melbourne Cup Carnival 1999. You're watching it live around Australia and in many parts of the world on Network 10.
We return to Flemington for our ritual, correct weight, which is duly going to be given. There's that very familiar wave, magic correct weight. And that means dividends are ready with Danny Malik.
Thank you, Tim. And the winner, Rogan Josh, number 7. Another Group 1 winner for Bart Cummings, and he's going to saddle up one of the main chances in the Cup on Tuesday. 7 Rogan Josh, 16.10 and 3.60. 8 Rebel, $15.90, and 9 Oliver Twist, $3.80. Quinella, $447.50. Trifecta, $8,488.80. Race-to-race double, $138.70. Well, Bart Cummings had this horse only for a few months, came from Kalgoorlie, Pete. He wanted to lead in his races, raced up near the speed. That's something you don't often see with a Bart Cummings horse. It all changed today. He come from back in the field and won so strongly.
Yes, and while we applaud the performance of Rogan Josh, Dan, we're concerned about the performance of Tie the Knot. Guy Walter is the trainer. Are you concerned, Guy?
Yes, I was disappointed with him, Peter. I mean, I think he's obviously looking for further now, and he ran a flat race in this race last year and then ran very well in the Melbourne Cup, but the pace was on today, and I felt that he should have run on a lot better at the finish. And I was very concerned. Shane said he wanted to hang during the race. So we'll just monitor him over the next 24 hours and see how he is.
No knocks and bruises on him when he came back?
No,
he's okay?
He seems okay. We'll see how he is the next 24 hours. He's backing up a week after Cox Plate. I'm sure he is looking for further, but I would have thought he'd run a much better race than that.
So at this stage, pressing on?
At this stage, we're pressing on. We'll just sit down and have a chat before acceptance time, and I would say most probably what we'll do is accept with him and just monitor his condition the next 24 hours and see how he pulls up tomorrow morning. That's the crucial thing.
Well, he's such a wonderful horse. We hope he's here and back to his best on Tuesday.
Yes, well, he's rarely run a bad race in his life. Last year's McKinnon was one. Today was another one. And so, you know, it's very disturbing, really. We'll just see how he is.
Thanks, Guy.
Okay.
Guy Walter joining us. Let's go down to Tim Gossage in the betting ring.
Yeah, pretty good result that for the bookmakers, obviously with a disappointing run of Tie the Knot. But just talking to a couple of rails bookmakers now, they're really reassessing their Melbourne Cup markets. Don't be surprised if Tie the Knot is, well, it will be a massive drifter, no doubt about that on today's performance. But they did say that Rogan Josh will probably be in the top 3 or 4 as far as the new favourites are concerned. And all the people back in Perth will be rejoicing because they've been backing Rogan Josh for weeks and weeks, and they were thrilled with the Caulfield Cup run. To the Salinger Stakes, it is a very open race. This is the toughest race as far as the punters are concerned. It is each way the field, Pete.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier from here, Tim Gossage. Jen, this is a tough race. We're taking a look at the tote figures here, and we can see that Magic Music is the favourite, but it's more than each way odds the field, $5.30. How many chances did you come up with in this?
Oh, look, you could throw a dart, and I think you could probably get on the winner here with, I'll go with number 2, Kidman's Cove. This horse he's a very good sprinter. He's drawn the outside barrier 18, and he should come down there. And I think, you know, John Size, he doesn't often bring them down, but he's a very, very good trainer. I think he comes into this race extremely well. Number 1, Toledo, he's fitter for one run. Put him in for second, and number 6, Staging Lee third.
Let's have a look at the second page of the tote figures for the Salinger Stakes and see the other chances in the race as well. With Magic Music, the favourite on $5.30. Few in contention here. Canny Anna, I saw it work up the straight the other day, worked nicely. French Clock, $14. Didn't have a lot of luck, made up a lot of ground last start. And Far Rain is a very talented sprinter at $9.70. I've come up with the selection of Magic Music number 9 because winning form is good form. Kidman's Cove from Jennifer, Matois from Richard, Toledo from Letzi, and Far Rain from Gary Willis. So that is the selections from the panel. Race number 8 on the card. Time for the presentation after the Louis Vuitton McKinnon Stakes to the connections of Rogan Josh, and to make it the Chief Executive of Louis Vuitton Oceania, Julia King.
Each year when I stand here by just how well the VRC does this carnival. Each year it gets better. The gardens look better, the atmosphere is better, the crowd gets bigger, and everybody seems to have a better time. But I don't want to go on about that. What I'd like to do is congratulate the connections of Rogan Joss and congratulate Mrs. Green and Mr. Miller, Mr. Cummings, of course, and the jockey John Marshall. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to make a presentation to Mrs. Green.
Thank you to Julia King from Louis Vuitton for their support of this wonderful race. The LKS McKinnon Stakes now, the Louis Vuitton McKinnon Stakes, but the Group 1 races are not over. We've got the Salinger to come. The imponderable here, of course, is the fact that we haven't seen the horses come down the outside of the track so far today. They all went to the flat side in an earlier race. Kidman's Cove has drawn 18. That's Jen's selection. We'll know the answer, Tim, at around about 4:13, a little bit later on.
Thank you, PD. It's all very dramatic today, isn't it? On Amy Victoria Derby Day for 1999. What about that JB Cummings? He just knows how to get them to win races during this week, year in and year out. And will he make it 11 Melbourne Cups in a row? And I think we might have found him down there. No, we didn't find him. He's disappeared again, JB. Let's go to Lynn Talbot, who is, as always, out and about finding some fun.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Guys, I think we better send down some security reinforcements to the members' lawn here. No, it's not that the members are particularly playing up. It's that there's a hat down here that's worth more than many of the horses racing today. It is beautiful. Take a look. Wait for it. It's worth $750,000. How extraordinary. It's beautiful. And Alyssa Sutherland, one of Australia's top models, are wearing it. And it was designed by Jan Logan. Beautiful piece. Can you describe it for us?
Yes, well, we wanted to enter into the Spring Racing Carnival and have fun today, and we thought this hat lent itself beautifully to the addition of diamonds and pearls. So we've put 36 carats of diamonds on it and 31 lustrous Australian South Sea pearls, and we think it looks magnificent.
Oh, it certainly does. And Alyssa, what's it like to wear that?
I feel like $750,000.
Very good. It's nice and sheer, and we can still see your beautiful face. Very nice indeed. I know you're turning heads for more than one reason. And speaking of all things fashionable, I have John Flower, coordinator of Mercedes Australian Fashion Week, coming up next May. What can we look forward to?
Look forward to the best of Australian designers showcasing on the runway, and some international surprises as well.
Ooh, any hints?
I can't divulge anything at this stage, but it's going to be very exciting. You'll have to
You're
come up.
You're a man full of secrets, but it is a beautiful showcase and a place for Australian fashion to really launch themselves on the international market if they haven't already.
Okay, thank you, Linny. And now the Magi competition we're running for you, the race of the century. We're going to show it to you shortly after we take a commercial break. And the way it works is we're going to show you the first 800 metres, and then we'll tell you all the details of how you enter what is a fabulous competition. Could win a trip for 2 to the Kentucky Derby, so that's worth doing. But now we'll take a break. Come back and join us. know it. Around Australia, they probably know of it. Our international viewers, that was Chapel Street in Melbourne, which is just fantastic. Lots of lovely little cafes where you can sit out on the sidewalk, footpath. Sidewalk for the Americans, footpath for us. And have yourself a latte and sit in the sun. It really is very lovely. Now, when we arrive here in the morning, Tim Bailey we see for about 5 seconds. He grabs that little camera of his, disappears. We never see him again until he does these things. Here's Timmy.
No doubt about it. This is where the action is. Rails bookmaker Michael Iskander. Well, plenty to talk about. First off, that protest in the Derby. A few of you fellas a little nervous watching the monitors.
It sure had me worried, I'll tell you that, Tim. I've had, well, the second horse would have been an absolute disaster for us, and I happened to have backed the winner of the Derby as well, so I was hoping, and it worked out just fine.
There must be some mass going around in there now after the McKinnon. Rogan Josh, Bart Cummings does it again. The market's been turned upside down?
Absolutely. I don't have a market for you right now, but it's the master at his best. Rogan Josh, well, it'll probably be a 5-to-1 chance now. We've given as much as 250 to 1 early in the piece, but that's just typical Bart.
What about the old favourite, Tie the Knot? What do you see there?
Well, I see Tie the Knot drifting out to about 3-to-1 for the moment. As for Sky High, it'll probably be about a 4-to-1 chance.
Never a dull moment?
Absolutely not. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Absolutely true. Never a dull moment during Melbourne Cup Week, that's for sure. Now, Magi competition, very important. It's pretty easy. It's the race of the century. All you have to do is go to the supermarket, grab a Magi product, and then call the number that we'll show you, which is 1902 555 616. We're going to show you 800 metres today. We'll show you more of the race during the week, and the competition closes on Friday of next week, and on Emirates Stakes Day we'll show you the entire race, and then we'll find ourselves a winner. So first, the race of the century. First 800 metres. Here we go.
For the Magi Melbourne Cup of the Century, and they're off. And a huge roar erupts around Flemington as Windbag on the inside jumped away smartly with Even Stevens and Rain Lover. In the middle, Farlap began pretty well with Vintage Crop and Comic Court. Wider out, Night Watch was slow from the outside. Let's Alive hooking across the back of the field. Might and Power didn't begin all that well. He's well back when they settle, and Rising Fast has taken a while to find his feet as they link up with the course proper the first time. And Johnny Letts has taken Belldale Ball to the lead, just in front of Skipton and Windbag as they come down to the 400 in the first circuit. Galilee's in a nice spot from Vintage Crop, and then Rain Lover and Peter Pan. Comic Court has settled in about 8th placing from Night March and Revenue, then Poseidon. Farlap back in the centre of the field from Wotan, and then at Tallack. Might and Power well back from Baystone. Even Stevens. Rimfire's giving them a tidy start down the straight the first time. Then Rising Fast. Let's Elope Prevent. Night Watch Think Big. And Empire Roses last of all as they come to the judge with a lap to go.
Okay, that's all you get today. More on Tuesday, on Cup Day, and more again on Oaks Day as well of that race of the century. Now, there's the number, 1902 555 616. Grab a Magi product from your supermarket, get the entry form, and then give that number a telephone call. And that's how you do it. Race of the century right throughout Melbourne Cup Week. Well, now, we'll go to a break, but as we do on Amy Victoria Derby Day, we'll show you some fabulous scenes from around here. And that is our email address, by the way. I was just waiting for that to come up. And apparently we're getting a lot of calls, well, people jumping on their computers, even from North America, wanting to find out information or give us a little message of some description. So there it is, the cup at network10.com.au. Jump on, let us know what you think, what you're feeling. We'll take a break.
Going to school, I think it was. I'm not sure if that was the right time, but I had sixpence each way on Rimfire, one of those long price winners, and when I collected £2.50 or something, I said, how long has this been going on?
The first Melbourne Cup I attended was the Melbourne Cup. I think he won his first Melbourne Cup, and I went there with some friends. Brian Ralph, I think it was, took me there for the day, and there were so many people there, we couldn't move, and the sociable day, as you know, and I ended up watching the race in the trainer's car park, took my shoes off and stood on top of his car to watch the race.
I've had some terrific memories of the Melbourne Cup over the years, but my very first recollection of the Melbourne Cup was Rising Fast in 1954. I was only but a young schoolboy in those days, Pete, but that clearly remained in my memory as one of the great racing performances. And there's been a few memorable Melbourne Cups since, but Rising Fast was the first.
Yes, some memories. You know, there's been racing here of some description since the 1840s. First Melbourne Cup in 1861, and the VRC's been conducting racing here since 1864. So there would be a lot of memories. And Peter Donegan, the pictures I'm seeing, and you're closer to the action than I am, this looks like a pretty good crowd. You got to guess?
It is a very good crowd, Tim. It's always hard for Jen and I to tell because we're sort of looking over the tops of their heads, but looking at the pictures from our high camera, Jen, it's a very, very big crowd.
And the weather has been pretty good to us today too, so we've been lucky.
About to change though.
Yes.
We are getting a few spots of rain as the horses go to the stalls for the Salinger. There's Toledo. Doesn't he love this racetrack? Stephen Arnold takes the ride for Russell Cameron.
He's an evergreen, brilliant sprinter, this horse. He's had one run in. He's going to strip a lot fitter going into this race. And he's a horse that does appreciate the dry track, so he might just get that in before it starts to rain, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, it won't have too much effect on the track, these drops of rain. John Size is the trainer of Kidman's Cove. Mick Dippman, the rider. Barrier 18, this is your selection in the race. Will it come down the outside? I suppose it's got it.
Oh, I think he will for sure. He made steady ground at his first up run, and he strips a lot fitter going into this race. He's a very good horse. Look at his record, 49 starts for 16 wins. I think he's got a great chance in this.
Greg Hall, the rider for number 4, Natois, trained by Paul Perry. And this horse was oh so impressive at Caulfield.
Yes, and got poleaxed in the shorts at Randwick.
Yes,
so I thought he comes into this race with a bit of an each-way chance, but it is a bit harder for him here too.
I reckon Paint's just found his best form again. He went off there for a while after his Blue Diamond win, but he's really back to looking well and racing well at the moment. Grant Cooksley riding.
Go back 3 starts for Paint, and he bolted in there at Moonee Valley. He is racing in Great Heart, and the way he's racing, I suppose you've got to leave him there with a chance.
Speaking of the shorts, Jen, number 6 Staging, to be ridden by Jimmy Cassidy here, was an enormous run in the shorts and then went terribly at Caulfield.
Yes, Staging has had 3 tries down the straight and failed every time, but I think she'll be running on very strongly in this race, and I've left her there with an each-way chance.
And she's a bit fizzed up there. She wants to get to the gates, as we can see. Number 9, Magic Music. Damien Oliver is the rider. Johnny Sadler has taken over the training with the suspension of Leon Corstens, and she is absolutely flying.
Nothing wrong with winning form, that's for sure. She's likely to jump and run. She's got a lot of speed, and it's hard to knock her, so she must have a very, very good chance.
12 Caniana, Greg Childs, the rider for David Hall.
Been a bit inconsistent this time in. I thought it was a nice run at Flemington 2 starts ago, and Caniana is a horse that is capable of improving, so she's by no means the worst here.
And Far Rain, this filly, number 16, to be ridden by Brett Preble, is certainly on the up.
Very much so. Lightly raced, only had the 4 starts, won 3 of those. A 3-year-old going into this. I think this is a bit harder for her, but I'm very, very interested to see how she goes, because she might be pretty good.
If you can pick the trifecta here, you're going to get value.
Oh, how you ever. It's a very tough event, but I'm going this way. Number 2, Kidman's Cove, from number 1, Toledo, and number 6, Staging.
Magic Music for me in what Dan Malicki is a very wide-open affair.
Yeah, typical straight 6 Group 1 Salinger Stakes. And on the tote, Magic Music is the favourite at $5.40. Kidman's Cove and Toledo are about 2nd and 3rd picks on the tote. There's no real rank outsider in the race. Umrum, who's the last start Group 1 winner, is at $31. And the outsider on page 1, Major Victory, a bit longer on the 2nd page. Far Rain's in the market at $9.20. Big filly, who's performed so very well in only 4 starts. Pickup Line and French Clock and Caniana, who races very well here, are all given chances at the big odds. That's the look on the tote. Now the ring. This is often a race where we get a terrific guide when the money comes in from the bookies ring. Tim Gossage is our man.
Dan, they have come for number 2, Kidman's Cove. Everyone was talking about it about an hour ago, and actually some bloke come up and marked my book, and I've missed the price. It has shortened considerably and is now the clear-cut favourite in the bookmakers ring. Magic Music has got the drifts. The only other one of their back to beat Kidman's Cove is Far Rain down the bottom, number 16. But the favourite, number 2, and well backed, is Kidman's Cove.
Tim Gossage, a lot is going to depend on which side of the track is quicker, because Kidman's Cove will be coming down the side closest to us. There it is, the famous 1,200-metre straight course. Jen likes Kidman's Cove, Richard likes Natois, Johnny Letts likes Toledo, Magic Music from myself and Dan, Far Rain from Gary Will. It's a wide-open betting affair it is. It is the 3rd of the Group 1 races today, the Salinger Challenger Stakes. The previous was the Louis Vuitton McKinnon Stakes. The winner of Rogan Josh was a bit of a shock, but the performance of Tie the Knot was definitely a shock. We've already spoken with trainer Guy Walter. Let's find out the latest from jockey Shane Dye with Mark Aston.
How disappointed were you?
Well, very disappointed. You expect him to win a race like that today, and he's done nothing. He's run very similar to last year, although it was probably worse.
Do you think he's tired?
No, not at all.
You don't think he's been...
No, he wasn't too tired last week in the Cox Plate, was he? He ran very similar, but he did find the line a bit better last year in the McKinnon. For some reason, he's done this 2 years running.
Do you think he should run on Tuesday, Shane?
We're discussing that with the owners.
What's your personal view?
Well, you've got to pay up with him, because you've got to pay up with him now, and then you just got to see how he pulls up. You know, that's the trouble paying up now. It's a 24-hour decision. It's not, and it's got to be made now, so they'll probably pay up and go from there.
There was just no dash there, was there?
No, not at all, but he couldn't win after he went 200 metres. It wasn't in the straight. It was 100 metres after the start. He tried to hang bad.
Thanks, Shane.
Thank you.
Shane Dye, not a very happy Shane Dye with Mark Aston, and as Roy Higgins joins me, you can understand why Shane is pretty down in the dumps all the way along. He's been heading with this horse towards the Melbourne Cup. Cave Tara comes out the other day. He becomes, well, quite possibly the outright favourite, and then a run like that, simply, he cannot possibly win the Melbourne Cup the way he went today, unless there's something happens over the next 3 days.
Exactly right. You need a form reversal, though he did run only an average race in this race last year and come out and run a screamer in the Melbourne Cup. I think that's what they're hanging on to. They're going to have a discussion before acceptance time and make up their mind, but I would say they'd accept and wait.
I think you probably have to at this stage,
I think so. He's too good a horse just to throw your hands up, but it was a very, very dismal run, and he looked to be wanting to lay out, and he's I don't know whether his mind is not on it or there's something physically wrong with the horse.
Let's just hope for the connections that it is just an aberration for Tie the Knot today. Just a couple of bits of news, Roy, and that was that Alan Russell, who rode Felvalon, has been suspended for careless riding, and that is through until the 12th of November. Felvalon goes out
shortly after the jump. He crossed over the rail a bit too sharp.
But Felvalon's gone to the paddock, so Alan can go out there for a few days as well. What did you think of these?
Very open race, a lot of chances. I like to look at the top two. Did like Toledo. He's had the one run from a break. There he is on your screen now. Gee, he has done well since his first up run. Loves it down the straight. He's ready. Didn't mind a look at the 16 far range. She's a very, very good mare, this one. She's only had a handful of starts. She's very courageous. I think she'll give you a good sight. A good rap here from me you'll get from number 2, Kidman's Cove. I haven't seen much of this horse. He looked outstanding in the yard. Mick Dittman on board. This horse will give you a good sight. And number 4, Detoire, always runs well down the straight here, and he has peaked nicely since winning at Caulfield. For the 8th on the program, I marked the 1, 16, 2 and 4.
Now, you can't join us before the last, so we'll see you on Foster's Melbourne Cup Day. Just before you go, we've had an email from someone wanting to know the difference between set weights races or weight for age races and handicap. Pretty easily explained. Can you do it?
Tempo of the race is completely different. All the horses level weights are usually they're only small fields. Tempo is different. When you get something that's got 60 kilos, another horse has got 49 kilos, the tempo of the race is all different. It's just completely different racing, and they're hard to put the two together.
And as far as the physical difference is concerned, say the weight for age Louis Vuitton McKinnon Stakes, Tie the Knot will carry an allotted weight. That's what it is, weight for age, so he carries the allotted weight. And today, of course, that was 58 kilos. On Tuesday, should he go around in the Melbourne Cup, he will carry the weight that the handicapper has decided.
Well, he's got 57.5 or 57, hasn't he? And then you've got horses in the race down like Jogan Roche and so on. They're down in the late or early 50s, so there's going to be a big difference.